You got a good thing going and you got it going on. So get going, baby, and show the world that I'm the one. I'll wear you proud because, honey, you are platinum. You've been worth the wait, now that you're here, I'm done, I'm done. Ooh, I'm done, I'm done. You got me hooked up. Ooh, I like what you bring. 'Cause you're a pretty damn special thing.
My name is Tenisha White, and as a business owner myself, I wanted to explore the sudden rise in female entrepreneurs in my very own city, Birmingham, and just see what it takes to run a successful business in today's climate and celebrate some of these inspirational women who are making a massive impact in the UK's second largest city.
So my business represents creativity, diversity, freedom, no limitations. What inspired me to set up the company is it was mainly about kind of not being, I don't want to keep asking for handouts. I don't want to keep asking for a seat around the table. So I'm like, I'm going to build my own table. And then you can come and sit on my table. You can come and sit around my table and, you know, listen to what I've got to bring.
So my business represents dance being for everyone, so that no one's excluded. So we provide classes for people with disabilities, physical disabilities, learning disabilities, anyone that's got like a mobility issue that might impact them, and just ensure that they have access to dance. Because there's not a lot around at the moment, whether you want to kind of dance or join a class or even going to a gym can be difficult. So we want to make sure that that's there. And whether it's just coming and dancing for fun and enjoyment and making friends, or whether you want to take it to the next level and kind of train and compete or go on and do it professionally, we want to provide that.
So my business represents happiness and it's called Candy Bubbles. What actually inspired me to start my business was 12 years ago, I had my little boy christened and I hired a balloon artist, who I thought was an artist at the time, to decorate my son's christening, and it was a disaster. I decided that I didn't want anybody to feel the way that I felt at that moment, so I went on many balloon courses and started up a balloon business.
So my name is Lady Leisha. I am a musician / performer / TV personality. I've experienced many barriers of being a woman. I think the main one for me is having a talent and people are kind of scared of that talent. Like they see you as a threat. So for example, I've been asked to do jump on features with huge artists, and I've took my time. I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be my opportunity to shine, and I'll take my time with the lyric, you know, all week. And that usually it just takes me like a couple hours or all a week to perfect everything, even the ad-libs. I know exactly what I want to do. I've got it done now. I've sent it back, and they're like, well, the manager actually was like, we can't use the verse.
So as a woman, I don't feel I've experienced many barriers or adversities, because obviously in dance it's highly female-led. So I wouldn't say that has ever been a particular problem for me. However, I have come up against barriers when it comes to anything to do with inclusion. Obviously, dance is very focused on sort of the perfect body and the ideal body that happens to be normally non-disabled, female, often white, quite well off background, that kind of thing. So from that point of view, trying to branch it out to make it inclusive, that has been difficult.
Sometimes when you're on a track with people, everyone just wants to shine in it. But when you shine too much, it could bring hate, or it can actually block your blessings. So that was one of my main things. That's happened a lot of the times. And then I have to go through watching these same songs that I'd already recorded go on to chart or go on to do millions of views, streams, YouTube and stuff. And it's like, a lot of people rate me behind closed doors.
Some of the biggest barriers is yourself. I know that sounds ridiculous, but because you kind of second guessing whether you could even be a businesswoman. I didn't even know that that was a real thing. I didn't even really see myself as a businesswoman as such. I just saw myself as a creative. But then as time went on, you know, I am a businesswoman. I'm not an imposter. I know who I am. I know what I need to be doing. But so sometimes the biggest barriers are yourself and believing that you can achieve or you can do what you got to do.
There's been loads of barriers. Having your own business is never easy. I've many barriers. When I first set up 12 years ago, it was so hard to find a balloon artist. Now they're in every corner. Everybody's doing balloons. But you have to find a niche, you have to find your clientele. There's so much clients out there for every business. And even if there's 20 balloon artists that are set up in my vicinity, I've got my clientele. Everybody has enough work, so everybody can keep working.
Scene one, take one.
So my name's Jamelia. I've worked in the entertainment industry for over 20 years. So from singing to TV presenting, acting, modeling. And I think I was inspired to do it. I think it was opportunity, actually. The opportunity was presented to me and I was like, yeah, I would like to do that, actually. And I just went for it and have loved it and continue to love it for the last 20 years.
My name's Seema Gonsai and I'm a filmmaker. I'm based in Birmingham and have been here for the past, about 14 years. So I'm originally from Blackburn and I got into filmmaking in quite a strange way. So I originally was an Indian classical dancer, but I wasn't a very good one, I'm going to say. In fact, I was pretty terrible. But every year in Blackburn, we'd have loads and loads of Indian festivals and I would dance at them and then it would always be filmed. So it's like a keepsake that you'd have at home. And I was really interested in the filming part of it more than the dance part of it.
My name's Cheryl White. I'm the Managing Director for Activating Creative Talent. We're an organisation that works with young people at risk of being involved in gangs and youth violence. We were inspired to do this work because of many deaths that we've seen within the city of Birmingham and maybe across the world. And we just wanted to be involved to support and give families that support and also support young people.
I'm Frankie.
And I'm Becky.
And we're both Baha. So what inspired us to start Baha? What didn't? There are so many reasons. First things first, we became vegan and when it came to actually eating out and everything, it was just impossible to find what we really genuinely wanted to enjoy when we were out. So it was obviously the tofu, it was falafel, like the bean burger, and I thought, I think there's just so much more to life than these three options. Or if I see a risotto and a stuffed pepper, don't even come near me with that option. One of those things, it's just I can't.
The most important lesson that I have learned is to believe in yourself. I think self-belief has gotten me through, out of so many fantastic situations and opportunities. And I think if I hadn't had that self-belief, a lot of things that have happened would not have happened. So I think the most important thing and the most important attribute that I've required in business is self-belief.
Yeah, one of the most important lessons that I've learned from starting out as a filmmaker that you're not really taught at uni, you're taught how to use all the kit and things like that, is come up with a signature project. You must have a signature project, something that identifies you and your style in any sort of genre or in any sort of job. You know, what is it that makes you tick?
What they don't teach you is that being self-employed, it is long hours, and I think it's your passion that drives you to kind of be committed and continue the work.
There is nothing that anyone can teach you without just getting stuck in. Like, there's the base that you can learn of how to run a business and then give you all the theoretical paperwork and the documents. But trust me, as soon as you get into it and you actually start running a business, it's completely eye-opening and different what you actually got to deal with. And I don't think anyone could ever you can give like a base knowledge, but every business is different. And it also depends on the outcome of your business, where you want it to go, what path you want to go down. Absolutely. It depends on. There's so many variants that it's difficult to tell someone on paper how to theoretically run a business.
Yeah.
So my name's Sherelle Skeet. I am a very hyphenated artist, creative. I'm an actor, cultural producer. I'm the co-founder of Black Trust UK. I sometimes curate events as well. Well, that's part of Blacktress. I'd say that with everything that I do, it's always about value creation. It's always about using my platform that's going to benefit not only myself, but also to benefit my community.
So my name's Victoria Mannering and my business is Victory Fitness, and it offers group exercise classes and personal training. After working in gyms, they are quite male dominated and it can feel quite intimidating for those to come in to get fit, whether it's female or male. So that gave me the inspiration then to put a studio together rather than a gym and offer group exercise classes, personal training, and also transformation programs to help people get healthier and fitter through life.
My business definitely represents culture and community. So as a Caribbean girl, I'm very much interested in carnival. I'm interested in my roots, and I really bring that out in hair pop. So I want to make sure that it's fun, that it's community driven, and that everyone can come and have a really, really good time.
My name's Samantha Todlana. My business is me, really. I am self-employed, I'm a freelancer. And my business is all around digital marketing and social media. I've been doing that for quite a while now, but recently I decided to go it alone. So yeah, no, I represent myself. And I do as best as I can in terms of digital marketing for the brands I work for.
My business represents sisterhood, it represents women, it represents unity. It just represents women coming together to do things that they wouldn't normally do. We spend a lot of time focusing on supporting everyone else, making sure the kids are okay, making sure our partners are okay. But what we don't often focus on is our own self-care and making sure we're okay so that we can continue to help everyone else.
So I've always been motivated by something, but I would say that the core of anything I've ever done has been just having the audacity to believe that I can. And I think that no matter where you're from, no matter what your background, your family setup, I don't care whether or not you're a single parent or your mum was a single parent, it makes no difference to what you're capable of, and your potential is as limitless as your mind can imagine.
Face your fears, do what you want to do in life. Don't let any barriers come up and think that, no, I can't do this, I can't do that. Just go head first and do anything you want to do.
We all have to be visionaries. And I think the most important thing, the most valuable thing that we have is our imagination. That's the space that needs to be constantly exercised, as opposed to perpetuating something that's already come before. Obviously, nothing is new, but our imagination, I feel like, is the key to the next generation. It's how we move forward. So there has to be more spaces. We call it visionary organising within Blacktress, and it's a form of activism. It's ultimately always going to go into, how we move forward, and that has to be about our imagination and innovation. That's where we're able to cultivate that, and leaning on each other as well. No one's an island.
Understanding the value of yourself, really, and loving you and loving what you do. And I think that's really, really important in any kind of business anyone's going to go into, but even just as a person in your personal life as well. And that for me has helped me actually break down those barriers and stop that kind of feeling not confident about who I am and what I do. And because of that, I think a lot of people do now appreciate, what I can do and what I do. So that's how I kind of get clients. Like I said at the beginning, I think it's me that sells Samantha, I guess, and the brand that I represent.
I've found that most of the gyms are run by men. So going into something fitness related, as a woman, can be quite intimidating. You do question if people are going to take you seriously, being a woman. But then sometimes you just kind of take that leap and just go for it and just hope for the best, I suppose.
So if I'm going to a networking event, which is predominantly men, I would always start with a statistic that in the UK, the hair and beauty industry is worth 5.25 billion every year, and Black women make up 80% of that spend.
And that always gets people interested. People that think, especially men that think, oh, just hair, you're a woman, you're doing hair stuff. And just really adapting what I'm doing and what I'm saying to make it interesting to them.
A lot of the time it is men. Girls can be a bit catty too, but men, it's like they don't like to tell you that you're good. Or they'll be like, oh yeah, she's all right for a girl still. Or, yeah, not every man. I'm saying people that are either in the scene or just people that just listen to music generally. I know a lot of men that don't like to admit it, but they'll slide in your DMs and be like, you're cold, like da-da-da. So that has been my biggest barrier. Just people just see me as a threat, when really I'm one of the most easiest people that you can speak to on a good day.
I think it's important to find the right balance between pursuing your creative passion and making something that is financially viable going forward. For me, it originally wasn't something that I was trying to make financially viable. It was just something that I was doing for the passion and enjoyment and the fun of it. But then because of the way that it was received and the response I was getting from people, it kind of led me to explore avenues that would make it financially viable. So that kind of sent me into the merchandising, working with a seamstress to get these African print skate leashes and backpacks and all sorts of little things that we're working on in that sense. But then going forward, I feel like it would be a really good thing to do as sort of a social enterprise where you're working with community centres, with schools to kind of build confidence and exercising and being healthy, but through roller skating.
It's difficult because at the beginning, you put every ounce of energy, passion, literally every aspect in your life. It's just in the business just to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember 2nd of July 2018, we worked a 23-hour shift. It was stupid ridiculous because we just kept saying yes, and we had to be creative on the spot with how do we work these things, how do we get the staff involved. But we just loved creating so much so that we were like, yeah, we'll do it. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. We love working under pressure. I don't know why we like doing it so much, but we just do. I think we kind of thrive on the whole pressure of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, finances kind of dwindle a little bit. As much as I know most business people will tell you, if you're not making a profit, you're not having a functional business. I get it. What I'm giving us in a little bit of a breathing space is understanding that we've got many avenues and many different ideas that we want to take Baha as a company down. So we're allowing ourselves to really create what we want, minus how much it's going to cost us to get it to the customers, simply because in the long run, I think that we understand that you'll get your money back eventually.
Don't be afraid to say no to certain things, to leave the space and the room open for something bigger to come into that space. And that's something I've learned even more so in the last year or so of my career and of being a businesswoman. Being able to just say no, so that something, leaving the space open for something bigger. And that's when you see true growth financially as well. It sounds ridiculous because we have this mentality, we want to go yes to every job, like, oh my gosh, this little job, that little job, because we never know when the next one's going to come. That little project, yes, that commission, but sometimes that drains us and then we do lose our creativity because we're just doing stuff either corporate or whatever, and then you lose your creative flow. So you do have to kind of stop, look and listen and just go, right, that's not what I need to be doing right now.
I feel that we could always do with more visibility when it comes to female entrepreneurs. I definitely do in Birmingham. That being said, I know many fantastic female entrepreneurs based in Birmingham, and I think it's really important that we make an effort to connect and to and to familiarize ourselves with each other. So I would say personally, I'm definitely aware, but I definitely feel that visibility could definitely be improved because, we're the greatest, aren't we? Burmese women, come on.
So I think in Birmingham, there seems to be, in my eyes, quite a balance of male and female entrepreneurs. I seem to always have both, be surrounded by both all the time, even though I'm in the film industry as well. I do feel like there are many female entrepreneurs in film. And we just give it a bit more hard work and we give it a bit more commitment, and because we have to, you know. And so a lot of the women that I know that are entrepreneurs are incredibly passionate and very strong about what they do. And that really rubs off on me. But I think it's really important that we have an equal balance and a really nice team. So I like to surround myself with a great team of people that we inspire each other as well as work with each other.
So there can always be more. But I am so fortunate in terms of the visibility of female entrepreneurs. You know, I'm one. Tenisha, you're one. We're in the room with like 2 other incredible women here who are, I'm imagining, entrepreneurs as well in their own light. And yeah, so for me, that we are the backbone in a lot of spaces. We create jobs for ourselves, but for other people as well. So I'm saying, yeah, there can always be more.
Running a business and managing a family can be challenging, but I think because I'm passionate about the work, I do enjoy it. I think the beauty is that our children are of the age where they understand the agenda, they understand the work, and they can see what we're doing, and they can kind of be a part of it in terms of any campaigns that we're running, or just be a part of it in general.
Having 2 little boys, 7 and 3, for goodness sake, and then working near enough 12 to 14 hours a day, it's been tough. It's been tough on, you know, well-being, and sometimes your own mental health. You have to kind of check yourself, really, and make sure everything's okay. But I think I've kept going because I've just thought to myself, you know, this is the right time for my business. I've actually been lucky enough to get quite a few clients during the last 1.5 years. So you know what, let me give it a shot, and thank God for my other half as well. And the boy is just really kind of understanding, Mummy's got to work and she does what she does. But I also try and take time for them though, which is good. You need that. You need that time out.
Managing family life along with business and working, as any mother would know, is it's a job in itself. What I would say is that I've always had this kind of mantra or motto, and it's have kids, will travel. And by that, I mean, my children, I've always involved them in what I do. So if I'm going somewhere, if I'm doing something, I let people know I have children, they will be around, they may be involved. And for me, the reason I want to do that, number one, I want my children to see me work. I want them to see a woman in a position of, you know, of power, of opportunity, that I want them to see what it looks like. I take my kids to meetings, and I don't know how professional it seems, but I've been doing it for 20 years and, you know, I haven't had any complaints. They're very well behaved as well. I've trained them.
My journey has inspired my children, in particular my 14-year-old. He runs his own business, so he's a young entrepreneur. So I feel that he has kind of watched me and his father be entrepreneurs, and that's why he's kind of wanted to do that.
For me, I think the best way for me to kind of reconcile doing both, because I do have mom guilt if I have to leave them, and the best way for me is to actually try and connect the two. So yeah, I involve my children in almost everything I do, and anyone who's worked with me, guarantee they've met my kids.
I did have a few people that inspired me musically, but the solid footprints of focus and determination and motivation and resilience and talawa, fearless, is my mother, my queen. She doesn't even know it herself. And it's not because of what she used to say, because she barely spoke. She's just like me. I guess that's why I'm the way I am. But it's what she done for us.
So my mum ran in an education department a section for people with disabilities, and she was very passionate that they have a voice and they be heard and treated fairly and equally. So I think that's where I get that from.
I was inspired by the way my mom just used to manage the home as a single mom. That inspired me because I was like, wow, she ran the home like a business almost. Like everybody had their chores, their jobs, and we kept, you know, it was a big family, and it's just my mum, but we kept the house tidy. We all had our little roles to do. It was like a little mini, business, you know what I mean?
And we never used to say, I love you. It's so mad. I think a lot of Caribbean families are like that, but we never used to let each other know that we loved each other. But I would always watch her. She used to work 3 jobs. I'd have a babysitter, like she'd be coming back mad late. I didn't really have a relationship with my mom, but everything that I'd done was for her. Like, the environment that I grew up in wasn't a nice environment, and I felt I just, like, there's only me that can get us all out of this situation.
My own mother, like, she's an actress, and she kind of like motivated me to be more creative in what I had to do. So I had the luxury of just doing what I had to do with the support in the creative kind of arts as well. I find that is really important, and not everyone has that luxury as like parents, because it's always like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be this. And I'm like, Mum, am I okay? Yeah, cool, off you go. Let's share the stage together. And it was just, I was so happy in doing that.
But at the same time, apart from like looking at, different women like in the media, which there still wasn't many, I found the lack of, I'd say, black women who looked like me, sounded like me, came from the same places as me, that from the same industry, that I could look up to and say, I'm going to be like her. So there were some, but they were very few and far between.
What would you want women to take away from this that might not have the self-belief that you've had?
I would like them to take away as much information that I've gave, to be honest. I don't want it to go in and come out. Like, there is a lot to my story, and hopefully I can inspire people along the way. There's so many ups and downs, especially in this industry, and as a woman, it's an emotional roller coaster.
I think for me, I'm 40 now, so I think I've encountered many barriers and many setbacks, and for me, I kind of feel like every time you get up from being knocked down, you're actually stronger. And I know that sounds so cliche, but so for me, I might have like, a battle that I'm going through at the moment, and for me, what motivates me is, well, I'm still here and I've won every battle I've been a part of before this point. So therefore, I can do this one as well.
When I grew up single mum, poverty, didn't even know about business, didn't even know a lot of things. So I think that's what thrived me to make sure that I did do something better with my life. I didn't stay stuck in a rut and be that statistic. I just wanted to make myself proud than anybody else.
Don't change yourself, always be unique to yourself. I think there's always a danger that you can conform to people around you or conform to groups around you.
Be true to yourself. That is so important. I think when we're younger, we're taught to be a certain way, we're taught to be in certain boxes, and then when we get older, it makes it difficult for us to know who we are, and we end up going through these crises.
Not be afraid to be myself, because I'm pretty amazing, and it's taken me a lot of time to really accept that and to own that. And I might not be everyone's cup of tea, but that doesn't matter. What's important is just being yourself and feeling that you're standing in your truth.
Keep finding your tribe. It's going to shift, and sometimes it's going to be painful, and there's going to be ups and downs, and that's all part of it. And actually that's the joy of it, that you actually get to experience those ups and downs. So we're especially remembering that when you're in your downs.
Have way more confidence in what I know, because you question yourself a lot and you doubt yourself, and there's all this fear of like, will I be able to make it a success? Will I be able to pay my bills? And actually, I wish I'd started much younger.
Be brave, be confident, and go with your passion.
Get that confidence and just do what you want to do and go for it and not worry about anything else.
Let the little things go. Just take care. Do the best you can. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, no one tells you this thing. They always say like, you gotta do this, you gotta be amazing, you gotta be the best. Hey, learn from the mistakes.
And know that, you know what, I can charge this, I can do this, I don't need to underrate myself. Actually, I am good enough, so why not?
Just don't just trust anybody and everybody. Keep your wits about you and stay true to yourself. That is it.
She is amazing.
Phenomenal.
Passionate.
Mighty.
Powerful.
Groundbreaking.
Power.
Resilient.
Instrumental.
Empowering.
Strength.
Superheroes.
Everything.
She is you.
Women are delicious. Okay, I'll do a proper one now. Okay.
Whether or not you got a brain, but you still lose confidence.
You guys are giving me so much joke.
Go get it, make your mind.
I don't know what I'm saying.
You bad like that, sing. In any color, shape, or form, keep it beautiful. Better let them know. I am the first and the last, only one like me. Thank God. Blessings keep on coming, getting closer.
The women
to
are
my
so
dreams.
many things
Got to keep on going.
that I just cannot think. Okay, let me just find a really decent one.
Journey that I'm on's frustrated.
Women are voluptuous.
I wouldn't
What else to say?
change it. It made me who I am to this day. It's amazing, yeah. Pretty little trailblazer. Pretty little trailblazer. Ladies, if you know you're too blessed to be stressed, let me hear you sing.